Greetings! Paper Mario Sticker Star is just about the most underrated Mario game of all time, and frankly, it's hated for daft reasons. But what makes this game great? Well, let's start with level design, the most important part of any video game. And Paper Mario Sticker Star has great level design that complements the game's collectathon nature, with either plenty of stickers on or basically on your path, or if you want to pick up better, rarer, or just things, you can, well, explore. Kinda like how this game wants you to do, as most things in this game will require you to snoop around, and the game does really well with this in its tutorial. But yeah, in Detzelberg, the Toads require you to explore the town, and getting the fan in Bouquet Gardens, and basically every other thing that's required will require you to do a little bit of exploration, but we'll also get into that in just a little bit. The levels in Sticker Star are mostly open fields, which makes exploring and collecting more rewarding as well. You have more room to search every nook and cranny. This means that there is more potential to, well, explore as levels are larger with more secrets, or just to generally explore and engage with the level while heading for the common and/or objective. Examples being Enigma Mansion, obviously, as that whole stage is about exploring the mansion to capture the booze. And you also have a bunch of good stickers to collect in that stage. Another example is Tree Branch Trail, where you have the main path, but every few steps it opens up into a bigger area. And the final example, Strike Lake, where this stage is unique as it has trees, which have a bunch of goodies in them, like leaf stickers, which can be turned into great stickers, especially the shiny leaf. And well, because the shiny leaf can also turn into very, very good stickers, in case you didn't know. With the stages being larger, engaging in fights is basically always your choice, as enemies move basically as fast as you and just a bit slower, meaning that you're not going to be forced into fights that you don't want to participate in. And yes, I'm upset with Brothership, where enemies move faster than you. I'm glad you can tell. Some standout levels in this game will be Russell Barrow. It's a survival-like stage where you started with nothing, and you have to regather all your supplies and eventually beat the stage, which is a really good idea for a stage. It's kind of like the Modern Warfare 2022 mission, Alone. Another standout stage is Yoshi's Sphinx, mainly because there is so much things to do here. Secrets, a large open space, a mini boss, a fun gimmick boss fight with the three Morocco or mariachi band Shy Guys. And it is all wonderfully put together into one stage. A similar story with Sandshifter Runes, just with less interesting fights, but like 20 times more things to explore, so it's a worthy trade in my opinion. And last but not least, as I could explore every single stage in its own right, the minigame stages, like Stump Glade, Whiteout Valley, River Rapids, and Long Long Falls. These are a fun change of pace as you kind of just play a little minigame, and yeah, they're just fun little minigames. But yeah, that's the level design. But now on to the game's progression, which is the bulk of my enjoyment. Well, because it ties into the level design. The progression of the worlds in Paper Mario Sticker Star is non-linear. No duh. Which means that besides World 1, you have either World 2 or World 3 to do, and after those two worlds, you can either do World 4 or 5. Or if you don't mind leaving worlds halfway done, you can either do World 5 first. For World 4, you would need to do basically all of World 3, so that's less accessible than World 5, but more on that later. But yeah, the non-linear progression has a beautiful privilege of other open world / non-linear games, where your playthrough can be different from previous playthroughs, which makes the game more playable, and therefore you get more value from it as you can play it more, and well, at least for me, that's important, you know, replay value. Now, for the game's actual progression, like with the things and scraps and wigglers. Starting off with the things, specifically the things that you're intended to use to clear your path, which are usually and basically always hinted at of which to use and, well, where they are. For example, the trash pile in Shy Guy Jungle. I mean, it's pretty obvious. What cleans up trash? Come on. Also, the little vortex or sand tornado thing in Damp Oasis. There's a power outlet, and by that point in the game, there's only like... Actually, in the entire game, there's only like 5 things that can connect to a power outlet. The fridge, the oven, and yeah, the vacuum and the other vacuum. Yeah, there's only like 5 things in the entire game. But yeah, back on track. Also, the fan, it's, I mean, big wind, you saw the fan pushing in Bouquet Gardens, you'd obviously know, seeing how you did see the fan being used to produce a large amount of wind, that it would be able to push the fan blade. And also the trumpet, again, it's in your path in Goomba Fortress, and obviously you saw that the trumpet was used to wake up the Goombas. You saw that the trumpet was used to wake up the Bob-ombs. So when you get to Wiggler, you would obviously know, if you remembered it, because you were given the option to go to World 3 or World 2, that, oh yeah, the trumpet was used to wake up the Goombas, it'll wake up the Wiggler. That's just a beautiful part of this game's game design, how basically you're gonna know when to use the thing, and you're also always gonna know where the thing is because they're placed on like your obvious path. Like also, and the last example, the hook in Outlook Point, because that stage introduces a door, and what is rather obvious, the door, because it's basically just down the path. But the fun part of the thing system is that there are other things that will also work. For example, Rugged Road. You can use the fridge, but you can also use the shaved ice, or in Chomp Runes, you can grab the air conditioner, and that will also work to freeze, all the lava. Another example is to cut the rope in Surfshine Harbor, where you can use the scissors, but you can also use the barber scissors. And probably other type of scissors, like the shears. But yeah, being able to use other things alongside the intended one is also really fun and also a really good thing, because it does add more flexibility and more openness, as you can just buy a door or just get the thing in another stage and you don't actually have to use the one intended. That just gives you more liberty and just makes the, thing system more fun, as it gives you more agency to figure out the puzzle, which also just makes you feel smarter. Well, at least for me, it makes me feel smarter. Like, I was overjoyed when I found out I can use the air conditioner. But yeah, back on track. Scraps are like things, but just on a way smaller scale, and are usually found in the level and used in the same level that they were found in, with basically the only exception being the tabloid pieces for Dry Big Stadium. And the Wiggler segments are kind of interesting because they, have pretty decent fights along with them and an endearing side quest, but yeah, they're kind of basically just things that they're kind of just things with a mini boss attached. But let's just move on to the battle system now. Now, let's move on to the battle system. Battle system for this game works for this game. Seeing how, you're meant to collect stickers and either sift through the bad ones or battle with them, as I would recommend, as you get money instead of nothing. Also, side note, I don't believe the amount of people who say that they ran out of stickers during a boss fight and then blame it on the game. Look, I get people get mad for losing, but come on, if we run out of stickers or lose to a boss fight, it will basically always be your fault. Same as in every game, Paper Mario Sticker Star isn't special. Sorry for the rant. But yeah, the battle system was made, with the most likely intent that you'll use the worst stickers to beat up enemies to get more cash, so you can buy good stickers like clone jumps or big stickers for the actual meaningful fights, the fun fights, aka the mini bosses and boss fights, which are actually good. Which is a good transition to talk about the meaningful boss fights, starting with the mini bosses, aka the force fights. For example, the Hammer Bros in Leaf Litter Path. These mini bosses are usually more challenging variations of the regular counters in the stage, which is more fun, as like most games, it's easy to curtail the difficulty to your skill. But also, back on track, the mini bosses can occasionally just be a harder lineup of enemies, like the Boomerang Bros in Leaf Litter Path or the Cone Goombas in One Fuzzy Plains. But the more fun ones are the ones with transformations that either throw in a cool gimmick, like in Snowbazers 4 with the Stack of Shy Guys, which is my personal favorite, or the 5-stack Power Goombas in Dry Bake Desert. These add a fun yet difficult challenge to the game if you choose to fight them, as some mini-bosses belong to the Travel Toad questline. And the Force Run mini-bosses, like the Big Cheep, which is kinda lame because you do need the hook, but it is a fun challenging fight besides that. And what the Big Cheep should have been, the Big Boo, where you can use either a water thing to disable the candles, or kill him in one turn, or use defensive stickers to kill him. Either way works, and either way has its own merit, which just makes it more fun, as the Big Boo boss fight is a fantastic forced mini boss fight, as you're given 3 ways to deal with him, and yeah, it's just a very good mini boss. But now, onto the actual world bosses, and oh boy, these beautiful bastards are amazing. Starting off with Mega Sparkle Goomba. He's kinda there just to get players accustomed to the game, and he does a good job at that. Tower Power Pokey, his summons, and the ending is actually the hardest part because of his hearing, but FYI, if you mess up a block when he slams you, and it crumples you, you're basically dead. Goober Blooper, my personal favorite boss fight in this game, as his fight is pretty hard as he deals good damage, but he can be countered with helmets and, well, tails, and his spit attack, while scary at first, becomes laughable when you learn that you can block it, and Goober Blooper, the kind fella that he is, actually tells you when to block, as you block after the third clap, or slam, I guess. But yeah, it's a great fair challenge. Also, the leaf sticker works, so block, you know, your attack for you. Snow Bowser is a fight that operates on a challenge of kill it in its first form ASAP, as it deals the most damage, especially unblocked. As the fight progresses, it does cool down, as you shave off layers of his ice until the last 100 health, where his attack becomes annoying because I forget that the attack lingers for a second. But if you don't like basic intelligence like I seemingly do, it's actually a very good boss fight, unless you're a dipshit like me. Alright, but also moving on to Petey Piranha. This boss is quite fun to take down, as POW blocks are amazing against him and kill him really easily, lol. But when fighting him properly, he's like a modified version of Tower Power Pokey. But the big difference is the lack of a battle spinner, which makes your attacks weaker. But don't worry about healing unless you ignored the shiny 1-up HP mushroom earlier. Then yeah, you probably should ignore healing. But yeah, it's a fun challenge. Now, onto Bowser's Jr. fight, as it's a fun fight involving surviving until his shield breaks, and then he perishes easily. And now on to the big boy himself, Tootel, which is pretty difficult, but as everything in Sticker Star, it is fair. Most of his phases are gimmicks. Well, the first 2 gimmicks are working around an enemy horde or a thwomp, then kill as soon as possible for the other 2 phases. And the final phase, I mean, who cares? The music is so damn good. Why even fight it when you can just listen to the music? But seriously, speaking about the final phase, it does have some of the most difficult attacks in the game. But seriously speaking about the final phase, it does have the most difficult attacks in the game, like the one that burns your stickers, or just dealing a fuck ton of damage. But the fight is, well, fair. Now, after talking about the bosses, we're still on the bosses because of one thing. All these bosses have weaknesses. Now, you don't need to use them, but you're given the option to use the boss's weakness against them, or if you're looking for an extra challenge, you don't have to use them. And as you can guess, I was talking about fighting the bosses without using their weaknesses, because personally, for me, that's what I find the most fun in Sticker Star, not using the boss's weakness to kill them in like 4 turns. But now, onto the last section of the good part of this review, and the small things are too small for their own section. Starting off with how nearly every sticker is viable in battle, which means that you can use a wider arsenal of stickers in battle. Like nearly every game, it's easy to adjust the difficulty to your skill, but Sticker Star does make it easy to do so, yeah, this is also gonna go on here. Again, collecting stickers is fun as fuck, and collecting things is also fun, and the Sticker Museum makes this even more fun and amazing, as it's incredibly satisfying to fill up the Sticker Museum, and especially watching the things just spin around on their little podium. It's just fun. Alright, now on to the side quest. I already mentioned the Sticker Museum, but also the Wiggler book is rather charming. The Travel Toad has fun fights like previously said. Escorting the Toad from Wiverfiver Hill is charming and also pretty funny if you take him to fight the big Buzzy Beetle and beat the stage. That is just funny. And fixing the garden is overpowered AF, and the banners are mostly just progression markers. So yeah. And the last thing, the extra comments. I don't know, I just find them neat and it just makes it more fun to explore a level. But now, onto the things that I find meh. Starting off with the long opening cutscene, it's like 4 minutes. Yeah, that's the section. Just let me play. I've seen this like a few hundred times by this point. Similar things with the credits, although with the credits I understand because, well, it's the credits. Does anyone actually stay around to watch the credits? I'm pretty sure everyone just leaves the room so they can, I don't know, go take a piss or eat or something. Next thing is how the radiator is gone so late in World 3. It should have been hidden earlier in the world, or an alternative could have been behind a door earlier in the world, or in another level, like, I don't know, somewhere in like World 5 or World 1. But yeah, having it that near the end to World 3 is annoying, as it means that you have to wait longer to do World 4. And last thing, I mean, it's not really a thing, it's just something I wanted to add and I didn't know where to put it. But yeah, half the dialogue in this game is in the first half in Detzelberg and World 1. So I mean, yeah, it's just something I wanted to say, that half of the game's 63 force interactions are in like the first 30 minutes of the game, and the rest, well, I mean, it's just kind of spread out, which is very nice because, well, you're not gonna get interrupted every few minutes because a character won't shut their mouth. Origami King. God, I hate Olivia. Alright, but now, let's get on to the negatives. Huh. Yeah, there's none. I went over the whole game in this review, and yeah, in my opinion, Paper Mario Superstar has no flaws, or at least no major flaws. And now, for the verdict. Drumroll, please. A 10 out of 10. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, it's the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, like and subscribe, and if not, tell me why in the comments, and I'll see y'all later.